If you have bought a car in the last 5 years or you are planning to buy one, there is a very good chance that somewhere between $800 and $3,200 in charges appeared on your purchase contract that you were not legally required to pay. Not taxes, not the price of the car. Fees, specific line items with official-sounding names that the dealership added to your contract, presented to you as standard, non-negotiable, and required by law when most of them are none of those three things. There are 7 of these fees I am going to walk you through today. 7 charges that appear on car purchase contracts all over this country every single day that are either completely fabricated, entirely negotiable, or being charged at a markup so extreme that the actual cost to the dealer is pennies on the dollar you are paying. Most buyers pay at least 4 of them without question. A significant number pay all 7, and the one that costs the most, the one I have watched add $1,400 to a car purchase for a product that cost the dealer $80 to install and provides almost no real protection, that one is fee number 3. And I promise you, it is on more contracts than you think. In the next 18 minutes, I'm going to show you the exact line items dealers use to add profit after you have already agreed on a price, and why the negotiation most people think is over is actually just getting started. The specific federal and state consumer protection laws that give you the right to refuse or dispute every fee on this list. The 7 fees one by one, what each one actually is, what it actually costs the dealer, and the exact words to say to have it removed. The moment in the finance office that dealers count on most to slip these charges through undetected. And the one document you can request before you sign anything that legally forces the dealer to show you every fee before it hits your contract. If you are buying a car in the next 12 months, or you think you may have already been overcharged on a car you bought recently, watch this video all the way through. The strategy I am about to describe is not about being difficult. It is not about wasting a salesperson's time. It is about knowing which charges are real and which ones exist solely because buyers do not know to question them. My name is Marcus Graves. I am a consumer protection advocate and automotive finance consultant who has spent the last 14 years reviewing car purchase contracts, training buyers on dealership finance practices, and helping people recover money from transactions they did not fully understand when they signed them. I do not work for a dealership. I do not receive referral fees from any lender or warranty company. I sit on the buyer's side of the table and I look at what people actually paid versus what the law says they were required to pay. And here is what I see on car purchase contracts every single week that the dealership finance office is counting on you not to notice. Fees with authoritative names that sound governmental but are not. Products presented as requirements of your financing that are actually optional add-ons. Charges described as standard industry practice that are in fact pure dealer profit with no corresponding service delivered to you. And a signing environment specifically designed to move quickly, present paper in sequence, and create enough momentum that questioning any individual line feels awkward and obstructive. Here is why the dealership has every incentive to keep this going. The average dealership in the United States makes more profit from the finance and insurance office, what the industry calls the F&I office, than it makes from the sale of the car itself. A dealership that sells a car at invoice price and loses money on the vehicle can still make $1,800 to $3,000 on a single transaction through the fees and products bundled into the back end of the contract. Your car payment is the price they negotiated for. Everything after that is the price they set for themselves. I want to be clear before we go further. This video is for every kind of car buyer. If you are buying a used car at $12,000 and every dollar matters, the fees I am going to describe are proportionally the most damaging thing in your transaction, and several of them are completely removable. If you are buying a new vehicle at $55,000 and you have comfortable savings, the same fees are still on your contract and the same rules apply. The dealership does not adjust its fee strategy based on your income. It adjusts it based on what you know. And after this video, you will know more than most buyers ever do. Before I get into the 7 fees, I want to tell you about someone I worked with. I am going to change his name. I will call him Danny. Danny is 34 years old. He is a warehouse supervisor from outside of Columbus, Ohio. He works hard, he saves carefully, and he had been planning his car purchase for 8 months. He had a budget. He had a trade-in. He had done his research on the vehicle he wanted, a certified pre-owned mid-size SUV with 28,000 miles on it, listed at $31,400. He had even watched videos on how to negotiate the price. Danny was not naive. Danny was prepared, He walked into the dealership knowing the market value of the car, knowing the value of his trade-in, and knowing the interest rate his credit union had pre-approved him for. He negotiated the price of the vehicle down to $30,200. He felt good about it. He shook hands with the salesperson and was walked to the finance office to finalize the paperwork. In the finance office, Danny sat across from a man in a tie who moved through a stack of documents with practiced efficiency. The finance manager was friendly, professional, and fast. He explained each document in general terms. He pointed to signature lines. He answered Danny's questions confidently. The whole process took about 40 minutes. Danny drove home in his SUV. That night, he sat down with the purchase contract to file it with his important papers. He had paid $30,200 for the car. His total contract amount was $36,847. The difference was $6,647. He had a trade-in credit of $4,200 and had put $1,500 down. That left $1,147 unaccounted for in his calculation. Danny spent 2 hours going through the contract line by line. He found 7 separate fees and add-on charges he did not remember discussing. Some he vaguely remembered the finance manager mentioning. Some he had no memory of at all. One was described on the contract simply as a dealer handling charge of $699. Another was listed as a paint and fabric protection package for $489. Another was a documentation fee of $598. There was a nitrogen tire inflation fee of $199. There was a GPS tracking and theft deterrent system listed at $399. There was a key replacement and roadside assistance bundle at $299. And there was a credit life and disability insurance add-on at $163 per month built directly into his payment. Danny called the dealership the next morning. He was told the fees were standard. He was told the add-ons had already been applied to the vehicle and could not be removed. He was told the documentation fee was required by the state. None of those statements were fully accurate, but Danny did not know that yet. He came to me 3 weeks later after finding my content online. By then, some of what had happened could be addressed and some of it could not. That is why I am telling you his story before you sign anything, not after. Let us go through every fee Danny paid and every fee you are likely to see on your own contract, starting with the one that sounds the most official and is the most negotiable. Fee number 1, the documentation fee. The documentation fee, sometimes called the doc fee or dealer processing fee, is a charge the dealership adds to cover the administrative cost of preparing your purchase paperwork. In 2026, the average documentation fee in the United States is between $400 and $800. Some dealers in states with no cap charge over $1,000. Here is what you need to know. Documentation fees are not set by the state. They are not required by the federal government. They are set entirely by the dealership. The actual cost of processing a car purchase, the software, the printing, the filing, is between $50 and $100 per transaction at most dealerships. The rest is profit. Some states have caps on documentation fees. California caps them at $85. Some states cap them at $150, $200, or $300. Many states have no cap at all. If your state has no cap, the dealer can charge whatever the market will bear, and what the market will bear is whatever the buyer agrees to pay without objecting. The documentation fee is almost always listed as a separate line item on the contract and almost always described by the finance manager as a standard charge that everyone pays. That second part is true. Everyone pays it because almost no one knows it is negotiable. The correct response when you see a documentation fee above your state's cap or above $200 in a state with no cap is to say this exact sentence: I would like the documentation fee reduced or credited against the purchase price. In many states, dealers will negotiate this charge or roll it into the price reduction rather than lose the sale. In states with caps, a dealer charging above the cap is in violation of state consumer protection law, and the charge must be corrected before you sign. To find your state's documentation fee cap, search your state name plus the words dealer documentation fee cap before you go to the dealership. That 30-second search can save you $400. Fee number 2, the dealer handling or preparation charge. This fee goes by different names on different contracts. Dealer handling charge, dealer prep fee, pre-delivery inspection fee, vehicle preparation charge. The name changes. The structure does not. This is a charge the dealer adds for preparing the vehicle for delivery. removing protective plastic, washing the car, checking the fluid levels, and making sure everything is in working order before you drive it off the lot. In 2026, this fee ranges from $299 to $899 at dealerships across the country. Here is the problem. On new vehicles, this preparation work is already included in the manufacturer's suggested retail price. The MSRP, the sticker price on the window, already accounts for dealer preparation costs. Charging you a separate prep fee on top of the MSRP is charging you twice for the same service. On used vehicles, the preparation work is part of the reconditioning cost the dealer factored into the listed price before you negotiated. Charging a separate handling fee on top of the agreed sale price is adding a cost that was already built into the number you shook hands on. The Federal Trade Commission has identified deceptive dealer fee practices as an area of active enforcement under its used car rule and its regulations on unfair or deceptive acts and practices under Section 5 of the FTC Act. A dealer prep fee that was not disclosed before negotiation and is added after the price is agreed upon is the kind of practice the FTC's dealer regulations are specifically designed to address. The correct response is this. This fee was not disclosed before we agreed on the price and I would like it removed. If the dealer refuses, you have the right to walk away from the transaction. If you have already signed and believe a fee was added without prior disclosure, you can file a complaint with your State Attorney General's Consumer Protection Division and with the Federal Trade Commission at ftc.gov. Fee number 3, the Paint and Fabric Protection Package. This is the fee that costs the most relative to its actual value. This is the one I mentioned at the beginning of this video. The charge I have watched add $1,400 to a purchase for a product that cost the dealer $80 to apply. Paint and fabric protection packages are sold in the finance office as an enhancement to the vehicle's protection against environmental damage, UV fading, stains, and weather. They sound valuable. They are presented as something the dealership has already applied to the vehicle, which is used to make them seem non-removable. In Danny's contract, this charge was listed at $489. Here is what the product actually is in most cases. A spray-on polymer sealant applied to the exterior and a fabric guard sprayed on the interior. Products available at any auto parts store for between $20 and $40 combined. The labor to apply them takes approximately 1 hour. The total cost to the dealer for the product and labor is between $50 and $120. The charge to you is between $299 and $1,495 depending on the dealership. The argument that the protection has already been applied and therefore cannot be removed from the contract is a sales tactic, not a legal reality. You are not required to purchase any add-on product as a condition of buying the vehicle unless that condition was disclosed to you in writing before you agreed to the purchase price. The Federal Trade Commission's regulations on dealer add-ons specifically address pre-installed products presented as mandatory. The correct response is, I did not agree to this product before we negotiated the price and I am declining it. If the dealer insists the product is already installed, ask for the invoice showing what they paid for the product. In most cases, that request alone ends the conversation. If you are buying a new vehicle and want legitimate paint protection, a ceramic coating applied by a reputable independent detailer after purchase costs between $500 and $1,500 and provides significantly better and longer-lasting protection than the dealer's spray product. You choose the provider. You verify the quality. You are not paying a 1,200% markup to someone you cannot audit. Fee number 4, the nitrogen tire inflation charge. This fee is small in dollar terms, typically between $150 and $299, and it is the one that most clearly illustrates how the fee structure works because the product being sold is something you already own. Nitrogen tire inflation means filling your tires with pure nitrogen gas instead of regular air. Dealers who offer this service charge for it by claiming that nitrogen maintains tire pressure more consistently, reduces oxidation inside the tire, and extends tire life. All of those claims have a basis in engineering literature and are used in commercial aviation and racing applications. Here is the fact the dealership does not mention. The air you breathe is already 78% nitrogen. Regular compressed air in your tires is already 78% nitrogen. The additional benefit of going from 78% to 95% nitrogen in a standard passenger vehicle tire under normal driving conditions is, according to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration's own tire pressure research, negligible for the average driver. The actual cost of filling 4 tires with nitrogen at a commercial supplier is between $6 and $20. Many tire shops offer nitrogen inflation for free or as a standard service. The dealership's charge of $150 to $299 for this service is a markup of between 1,500 and 5,000% on a product that provides no meaningful performance benefit for standard passenger vehicle use. The correct response when you see this line item is simply, I am declining the nitrogen inflation. If the dealer tells you it has already been done, your response is, then please deflate the tires and refill them with standard air before delivery. No dealer will do that. The charge will be removed. Fee number 5, the GPS tracking and theft deterrent system. This is the fee that creates the most anxiety in the finance office because it is presented as a safety feature, something that protects your investment and helps recover the vehicle if it is stolen. The emotional framing makes it harder to decline without feeling irresponsible. In 2026, GPS tracking and theft deterrent packages at dealerships are typically priced between $299 and $799. The hardware involved is a small GPS transponder installed somewhere on the vehicle connected to a monitoring service. The device itself costs between $30 and $80 at retail. The monitoring service costs between $8 and $15 per month if subscribed to directly. The dealer bundles the device and a 1 or 2 year monitoring subscription and charges you $399 to $799 for the combination. Beyond the markup, there are 2 additional problems with this product that the finance office does not volunteer. First, the subscription almost always expires after 1 or 2 years, and the dealer will not remind you to renew it. After the subscription lapses, the device is a piece of plastic attached to your car with no active monitoring capability. Second, your vehicle almost certainly already has a factory-installed telematics system, OnStar, Toyota Connected Services, Ford Pass, and their equivalents, that provides GPS location and theft recovery services as part of the manufacturer's connected services package, often included free for the first year and available for $10 to $20 per month after that. You are being sold a redundant product at a 900% markup to replace a service you already have. The correct response is, my vehicle already includes manufacturer telematics, and I am declining this add-on. That sentence covers every major brand sold in the United States today. Fee number 6, the key replacement and roadside assistance bundle. This fee packages 2 products together to make the individual price of each one harder to evaluate. Key replacement coverage pays for the cost of replacing your vehicle's key fob if it is lost or damaged. Roadside assistance provides towing, jump starts, tire changes, and lockout service. Together, they are priced between $199 and $499 at most dealerships. Here is what the dealer does not tell you before presenting this bundle. Most comprehensive auto insurance policies include roadside assistance as a standard or low-cost add-on. AAA membership, which costs between $60 and $120 per year, provides roadside assistance that is significantly more comprehensive than the dealer's bundled product. Many major credit cards include roadside assistance as a cardholder benefit at no additional charge. And most new vehicles include roadside assistance from the manufacturer for the first 3 to 5 years as part of the factory warranty. Key replacement coverage is a legitimate product in a narrow set of circumstances, specifically if your vehicle uses a high-security key fob that costs $300 to $500 to replace and is not covered by your existing insurance. For most buyers, the loss of a key fob is an insurable event under their comprehensive auto policy with a deductible that makes a separate key replacement plan unnecessary. The correct response is to tell the finance manager which existing roadside coverage you already have, your insurance, your credit card, or your AAA membership, and decline the bundle on that basis. Then ask separately whether your insurance covers key fob replacement before deciding on that component independently. Fee number 7, the Credit Life and Disability Insurance add-on. This is the most expensive fee on this list when measured across the full term of a loan and the one most likely to appear in your monthly payment rather than as a visible line item on the contract, which is precisely why it is last and precisely why it is the most dangerous. Credit life insurance pays off your auto loan if you die before the loan is paid off. Credit disability insurance makes your car payments if you become disabled and cannot work. Both products sound responsible and protective. Both are sold in the finance office to buyers who are already committed to the purchase and are in the final stage of signing documents. Here is the structural problem with both products. The premium is calculated as a percentage of your loan balance and added to your monthly payment. Danny's contract included $163 per month in credit life and disability insurance. Over a 60-month loan, that is $9,780 in additional payments on top of the vehicle purchase. The coverage provided by a $9,780 credit life policy on a $30,000 car loan is a benefit that decreases every month as the loan balance decreases. By month 48, you are paying the same premium for coverage on a $6,000 remaining balance that you paid for coverage on a $30,000 balance in month 1. The Federal Trade Insurance has consistently found that credit insurance sold through auto dealers is among the most overpriced insurance products in the consumer marketplace. The same death benefit provided by a term life insurance policy, which pays your family a lump sum they can use for any purpose including paying off a car, costs a fraction of what dealer credit life insurance costs for the same coverage amount. The correct response is to decline both products explicitly and in writing. Under the Federal Equal Credit Opportunity Act and the Federal Reserve Board's Regulation B, a lender cannot require credit insurance as a condition of approving your loan. If a finance manager tells you the insurance is required for your financing to be approved, that statement is a violation of federal law, and you can report it to the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau at consumerfinance.gov. There are 3 specific situations where these fees do the most damage, and that I want you to know about before you walk into any dealership. The first is when you are buying at the end of the month. Dealerships track their sales targets on monthly cycles, and salespeople and finance managers are most aggressive in the final days of the month when they are trying to close the gap on their numbers. The pressure in the finance office is highest when the month is ending. Fees are least likely to be negotiated down when the dealership believes it has leverage from your urgency. If you can buy in the first 2 weeks of the month, your negotiating position on every line item is stronger. The second is when you are financing through the dealership rather than bringing your own financing. The finance office has the most control over your transaction when you are dependent on them to arrange your loan. Buyers who arrive with a pre-approval from their credit union or bank have already removed one layer of the finance office's leverage. The dealer can still offer a competitive rate, and sometimes does, but they cannot build fee income into the financing terms as easily when they are competing against a rate you already have in writing. The third is when you are trading in a vehicle at the same time as buying. A transaction with a trade-in, a purchase price, a financing rate, and a list of add-ons has enough moving parts that it is extremely easy for fees to get absorbed into the overall number without being individually visible. The correct approach is to negotiate each component separately. Agree on the trade-in value first. Agree on the purchase price second. Arrange financing third. Review add-ons fourth. Never let the finance manager combine all 4 into a single monthly payment discussion without first establishing what each component costs independently. Danny went back to the dealership with documentation of each fee, the applicable FTC guidance on dealer add-ons, and a written request for itemized cost disclosure on every product he had been charged for. The dealer removed the nitrogen inflation charge of $199 and the paint and fabric protection charge of $489 without significant pushback. The GPS tracking fee of $399 was credited against a future service appointment rather than refunded directly. The credit life and disability insurance was cancelled under the policy's cancellation provision. Most credit insurance products sold through dealers have a 30-day free cancellation window that the finance manager did not mention, and Danny received a refund of the first month's premium of $163 applied as a credit to his loan balance. The documentation fee and the dealer handling charge were not recoverable because Danny had signed without objecting and his state had no statutory cap that had been violated. The key replacement bundle was partially recoverable. The roadside component was refunded because Danny provided proof of existing AAA membership, which met the contractual definition of duplicate coverage under the bundle's own terms. Total recovered or credited: $1,250 out of $1,947 in fees he had not agreed to pay before he negotiated the price of the vehicle. The remaining $697 was not recoverable because the applicable state law did not provide a basis for dispute on those specific line items after signing. Danny told me later that the thing that stayed with him was not the money recovered. though $1,250 is not nothing on a warehouse supervisor's budget. It was the 40 minutes in the finance office. He said the finance manager had been so professional, so organized, so unhurried that questioning anything had felt almost rude. He said it felt like being handed a stack of papers by a doctor and told where to sign. You sign because the person handing you the papers clearly knows more than you do and because the room is not designed for questions. He said once he knew what the fees were and what they actually cost the dealer, the whole thing looked different. It was not medicine. It was a menu, and some of the items on the menu were not food. If you take one number away from this video, take this one, $2,000. That is the average amount a car buyer in the United States pays in fees and add-on products that were either fully negotiable, entirely unnecessary, or duplicative of coverage they already had. $2,000. On top of a car they already negotiated. In a room they were in for 40 minutes. On paperwork, they were not given time to read carefully before signing. The dealership is not going to hand you a list of negotiable fees when you sit down in the finance office. The finance manager is not going to tell you which add-ons you already have through your insurance or your credit card. The only person who is going to protect your money in that room is you, and only if you know what to look for before you walk in. Go to marcusgraves.com/checklist. I have put together a free car buying fee checklist that lists every fee in this video, the state-by-state documentation fee caps, the exact sentences to use when declining each add-on, and the federal agencies to contact if a dealer violates your rights. Print it. Bring it to the dealership. Put it on the table in the finance office. The fact that you have it changes the entire dynamic of that conversation. Send this video to one person you know who is buying a car in the next 6 months. It does not matter if they are buying a $12,000 used sedan or a $60,000 truck. The fees are on both contracts. The tactics are the same, and one share from you could put $2,000 back in their pocket before they ever leave the lot. That is what this channel is here to do. I will see you in the next